With the joy of the holiday season comes the cold weather. This is not necessarily a bad thing because I don't know about you, but I envision sitting around a warm fire, the Christmas tree, all of the decorations. It's a beautiful thing if you take the necessary precautions. With us now from the Louisville Fire Department is Captain Donovan Sims. Captain, welcome in. Thanks for spending time with us.
For having me today. I'm glad I could be here.
Okay, so we're all psyched up and ready for the holiday season, and we hope everyone has a healthy, happy season.
Yeah, always.
Yes, with that being said, precautions are important. Be proactive. So first of all, I just talked about the fireplace and the tree. Yep. Okay, pretty obvious there. Does that happen? Does one ignite does this happen?
With the right setup, any of that can happen, right? No, we don't see as many of those tree fires as we caution against, but you still want to caution against those because if we are to have those tree fires, like those are going to be serious matters, right? Once they're probably going to happen while you're sleeping or while you're out of the house, and there's going to be a lot of damage done. So if you are going to use those real trees, right? As we know, you want to have fresh trees. You want to make sure you're cutting that stump about 2 inches. You're watering it daily, and you're keeping it away from any heating sources. Like you don't want it next to your fireplace or where you keep a nice portable heater, or you want to make sure you're keeping it in that 3-foot radius of a safe place so where you're not going to have those ignitions from that tree.
Yeah, and Captain, obviously, you've got presents, anything that's flammable.
Candles, presents, clothes. As you know, your home, it has a lot of items in it. You want to make sure you're keeping those spaces just kind of free around those objects.
Yeah, and it's not all about the fireplace, folks. We also have, of course, holiday cooking. It seems that all of the joy and celebration centers around the kitchen. Be careful. So what kind of precautions would you recommend, Captain?
Well, as we know, cooking is the #1 cause of home fires. So as you're cooking, your environment changes. You're hosting, you have plenty of people over, you have a lot of family members, a lot of kids ripping and running. You want to be attentive to your items in your kitchen. So if you're going to be having a lot of items on your stove, in your oven, you don't want to leave those unoccupied and as you're out hosting. Make sure you're keeping attentive, keeping alert of what's going on in your kitchen at all times.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because when I think about it, unlike other times of the year where you're really focused on your cooking and what you're preparing, this time of year you've got a full house. Like you said, you've got excited kids. So make sure that you stay focused on the hot stuff, meaning the burners, etc.
And on the opposite side of that, know who's in your kitchen, right? You got hot surfaces. If you have people who aren't usually in the kitchen, like kids, for instance, make sure you know what they're doing. You don't want them to touch anything that's going to create a burn for them as well.
And whenever we think of fire, of course, the combination of heat. So let's talk about heating your home, carbon monoxide, all of these things. So this is a real threat. I think sometimes people think, well, my home is fine. I'm nice and comfortable. I'm good. Talk about some of the things that they should be maybe leery of or aware of.
Well, as you know, here in the Louisville area, we can go and have 2 to 3 false winters where it gets, we think it's going to get cold and it gets warm again. Think it's going to get cold, it gets warm again, and we go back and forth. But during those times, you want to make sure you're taking care of your home. So have any of your heating sources, your fireplace, your furnace, the chimneys, kind of professionally looked at. Make sure they're clean. There's no debris around those. Because as you firing those on, make sure your filters are changed out in your furnace. Because as you fire those things up, that heat comes. If there's anything that could ignite and catch fire, you might not even know that. So these are times that you want to prepare for that. If you're using portable heaters in your home, again, that goes back to being safe. Make sure your portable heaters plugged in on its own. You don't want to have that plugged into a power strip with a TV or your phone charger, your iPad charger. You don't want to have all that being pulled by one place because that heating source is going to pull as much as it can. That 3-foot radius for debris and kids and dogs, you want to keep those around. If you're going to leave your areas, turn things off. Don't leave your portable heaters on. Don't leave your fireplace on if you're leaving the room or going to bed. And vice versa for your holiday lights. Do the same. When you're leaving rooms or going to bed, turn things off. They don't need to be left on for 8 to 10 hours throughout the night.
I've heard also that if you leave, don't start your dryer and then leave the home, right? You should be in the home if something with a heating element is on.
When all those heating elements are on, you want to be home. You don't want to run there, but I'm just running to Target for a few minutes. I'm going to be back. In the mornings, as we're getting into these colder mornings, starting your car. You don't want to start your car in your garage. Those fumes, that carbon monoxide, all those things are coming back into your house. You might not know it right away. But they're building. You can say, oh, I opened my garage door. No, if you're going to open your garage door, go ahead and pull your car all the way out and leave it on, leave it running. If you're going to have to do that, I understand it. We want to just take the precautions. That one extra step is going to protect your home, your family, and even your neighbors.
I know some of these questions probably elementary to you, but you mentioned carbon monoxide, and we all know the dangers of. You mentioned the car. Are there any other things that produce carbon monoxide that we should be aware of other than automobiles?
Yeah, I mean, you can get your heaters in your home. If you have a gas stove, there's a lot of other things in your home. That's why we push for you to have those carbon monoxide alarms, those meters in your home, because it's you can be just going about your normal day and not even knowing that something's left on. Yeah, I don't know how many homes I've been in personally where the stove knob was slightly turned and there's this gas smell and they couldn't figure out what it was, where it was, and we come in with meters and we're like, oh well, there it is, But if they didn't have like an alarm to go off or something, they might not have known.
It's great to have someone like you with the years of experience. How many years did you say?
Heading on 12. I'm
12 years. So you've seen a lot. And not to, I don't want to scare people, but I think sometimes it's okay to know, hey, these things do happen. Well, what kind of things have you seen during the holiday season in terms of maybe a little bit of damage to the home? Things could have been dangerous. You see these kind of things, correct?
Yes. I mean, you could, in our line of work, we do see a lot. We see things that people would see in movies. Things that people don't want to see. And with the precaution in your home, like you don't want to use like your stove to heat your home. I understand. You have family. You have people you want to keep warm and protect. You don't want to use things that are going to internally harm your family while you're also trying to protect them and keep them warm. So I've seen, people use their stoves to warm their houses. People using, running electric, using electric from neighbor's house to theirs to run a generator inside their home so they can run other appliances. I mean, we're literally asking for an emergency incident, in some of these
to be aware and use common sense. And I don't mean to be an alarmist, but certainly we want everyone happy and healthy this holiday season. I've got to tell you a quick story. So you'll laugh at this because nothing happened, no harm came of it, but it was funny. One morning I think I was in middle school, and I'm talking to my sister in the kitchen. And I'm leaning up by the stove, and I'm leaning up and I just talk to her. And all of a sudden she starts just beating me to death, and about boom, boom. I'm going, what's wrong? What's going on? My sweatshirt had caught on fire, and there was a hole this big. I was not burned whatsoever, but I was thinking, what did I do to make her so mad? But I was leaning, not thinking, just talking. Didn't realize there was a burner on, and whoo, suddenly, wow. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's all it takes.
Your dish towels that you use real quick to wipe something off, and you throw it down, and you throw it on that stovetop. You come by, you brush one of those knobs. You don't even know it. You didn't know it happened. It's real slow and low, and then next thing you know, you got a house fire.
Captain Sims, thank you for the really helpful tips. And on behalf of everyone watching Louisville Focus and myself and other Metro employees, thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I mentioned when you came in, I said, you're in the line of fire, so to speak, but you really are. And I know it can be, and hopefully it's not this season for anyone. It can be a dangerous job, so thank you for what you do. All right, once again, Captain Sims, the Louisville Fire Department. These tips are important, folks. Remember, safety first during the holidays. That way, everyone's happy.